Welcome back everybody. This video is to show the Sunlu Filament Jointer, what I've done to make the job easier, better, and I think covers a few of the little flaws that this unit has. So let's get into the video now. Right, welcome back everybody. As you saw in the intro, the unit that I've designed for the Sunlu Filament Jointer. In the previous video when I did the actual review on this unit, it's very good at what it does, but when you've got that on the tabletop and you have bits of filament like this, it's very difficult to actually, because it's wanting to spring out, it's very difficult to handle. And I've done about 40 joins now, because I did a friend of mine, he had lots of bits and bats, so I've joined them all for him, and out of the joining that I did do, I probably ended up with about 3 or 4 failures, solely because of you're having to handle things like this or tool reels, and you have to set them apart in order to get into work with them. And if you do not line those up correctly, you will get a jam in your extruder. And I did. In fact, I got one in the Bowden tube on the A1, and I got on the A1 Mini, I got an actual jam on the extruder. So this system makes the whole working of that Sunlu a lot easier. And since I did this, the joins I've done, none of them's failed. I'm going to show you, these are all the components. It's 3D printed, and they're all printed on the A1. They're all printed out of, in actual fact, there's actually, to print this off, there's actually 3 joins in the material that I use, in the filament. And it went through without a hitch. It really did save me some money by using this. I mean, for what that costs, it's a brilliant little unit. And I've seen a review on YouTube about this unit, and they show you actual welding because that's basically what it is, welding the filament together, but it doesn't show you cutting. It shows you them using a Stanley knife to cut the silicone, well, the tube or whatever it is that protects the filament when you it's a sleeve really, when you actually put the filament in either side, and they're cutting it off with a Stanley knife. Well, you've no need to, because there's a cutter in there and it does it first class. So why use a Stanley knife with risk of cutting your fingers? That does it for you. Whether they'd read the instructions, I don't know, but it is in there and it does work, as I showed you on the previous video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this, how it goes together. There are on some of the components, as you can see there's the brass inserts, and they are 4mm and they are 5mm on that one, and then the other one is just in the base. Okay, now this is designed to be adjustable, and I'll show you in a moment that it's designed that when you put it together, you can either have 2 reels on, or you can have a threaded little bit or 2 threaded little bits. But what it does do, it enables you that when you've joined it, you can wind it on, which is beneficial, believe me, than having some bits, because you've chance of kinking that joint again. But when you wrap it round or wind it back onto another reel, you've got that on, it's already maintaining the curve. Okay, so I'll show you now how this goes together. You've got the 2 actual units which hold the reels or the part cables, whichever you want to do, and then you've got the center one. and the center one is the main one. This is what holds all your units together. And that clips in there, that clips in there, so you've got one unit. Okay, then that is your main support. Okay, so that goes in there. There we go. So you can see that that's the two filaments. Now when I designed this, I wanted to use as little filament as possible. Now that just clears the actual roll or the reel of Bamboo Labs, so it doesn't make any difference. They're all roughly the same size anyway. But what I've done is I've made the actual unit that this is what you can see. It's rubber lined. I've put some rubber in there, just helps grip it. It's only sticky back rubber, double sided, and that allows you to actually move this up or down or that way. Okay, so this fastens onto here with through there, as you can see there, fastens through there with the 4mm screws. Okay, I'll put them in now. Okay, so as you can see there, that is the unit that holds the filament splicer on there. Okay, so this then goes into this groove here. Now you can see that that'll slide up or down, and this is held on by, it's a little plastic square with a 5mm bolt, and it's got some of the same rubber that's in there on the back, so that it just puts a little bit of that goes on there. Get it in, and that just gives you a little bit of grip. Okay, now I know I have mine, I prefer mine sat down as far as it will go down, but it will go up higher if you've got a higher reel or you want to work at that height. It is adjustable, and then that is just nipped. Doesn't have to be, because you can pick it up with it. Okay, so that's that unit. That's that now. All right, so your unit will sit on there, and then you've got your reels or your loose coils either side. Okay, on mine I prefer to put a reel on one side, coil on the other, or another coil, and then wind it on. And as you wind it on, you can join a bit more on. Okay, right, the next is the actual tray for the bottom. Okay, that slides on. Okay, and then we've got a little screw, 4mm screw, that actually secures that. Okay, now doesn't have to be too tight. Now that's the unit assembled. Okay, now this is mainly so that you can put the sleeves that you put the ends of the filament in when you actually weld them together. So you can put a few in here and then you can get on with the job. You're not having to go into the packet each time. Okay, or you can put what you want on there. I do have a piece of rubber that I put in here, and then when I cut it with a Stanley knife, I cut onto it so that I've got the actual right angles. You can nip them. You can use a pair of good sharp filament pliers. It's entirely up to yourself, as long as you get that angle cut more or less the same on each end. Okay, so that when you slide them together, they're actually angled and you get more of a joint. Oh, it's a stronger joint when they're angled. Okay, it's like when you mite a timber. If you mite a timber and put it together, you'll get a bigger surface area across the joint than you will straight on. Okay, right, now these are they slit in there, and they stop your filament from coming off this side. Okay, they just push in, and that's it assembled. All right, now I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to put the filaments on and show you exactly how easy it is. I'm not going to weld any because I showed you that in the previous video, but I'll show you how everything lines up. Okay, so that sits on there. That's your filament sat on there. That's one reel, and that's your wire reel. Okay, or your coil or your bits, it doesn't matter, make no difference which it is. Put that on there. That won't come off now. Put that on there, and that won't come off there. Okay, so now you've got your actual coil here and your drum that you're going to wind onto. Okay, this is just for purposes. I know I'm showing you one way around. So what I'll do now is I'll bring you closer and I'll show you how it all lines up. Right, here we are at the unit. Now before, when you had the reels or the coils loose on either side, it was very difficult to actually line it up. But what you find now is, if you've put your sleeve on, cut them, put your sleeve in, that sits in there, doesn't come out, which makes it easier when you are lining this up. You shut that down, however till it bleeps, however many seconds it is, place that out, and then I place it there. Okay, when you do that, it's still aligned, it's not trying to escape from you, which it's like a spring is some of this when it's being coiled up, and as I found out, a few of them got out of alignment. I didn't think it mattered that much, but it did, and had a few jams out of it. But since I've done this unit, this is worked 100% every time. And then of course, when you finish with that and you want to cut it, pop it in there, press that down, take it out and peel off. And then all you do then, and all I do, is wind that back on. Okay, and just wind it on to your next joint, another coil, on you go, another joint, wind back on. And it works an absolute treat, does this. It's very difficult with that unit on its own. It's, unless you've actually done it, you find out when you take it out from here that you've only to move it slightly like that, and what happens is it'll put a kink in like that, and it'll set like that, and you think, oh, but when you take the sleeve off, then you've a notch, you've a lump, because it's out of alignment and you can't bend it. Sometimes you try and the joint goes discoloured. It's not, I don't find it an easy thing to use on its own, not with two coils. And if you've a big coil of this, or two drums, and you've got them on the table, you've got to work between them, and when you push that one coil to one side, one to other, they want to come together because you're pulling the filament. It's a bit difficult to explain, but this makes it rather easy now. In, sleeve on, down, wait till it's finished, pop off. You can leave it there, or you can leave it just in front. Let it cool a bit, snap that down, into there, down, and that's it, done. Okay, so it has made it easier, a lot more efficient and a lot more accurate. Once I'd started using this, I never had a failure on this joining, and my friend, he'd lots of these bits, obviously a lot more than what's on here, and they were just in a pile and they've been in a bag sealed. And I said, I'll join them for you, and I joined them, and he's used it since and he's never had a problem. I think my friend's got an Ender 3 and a Anycubic. I don't know which one it is, but he said he's used both of them with the filament, and I've done ABS for him and done PLA. As I say, that's basically all I've done on it myself, and it's worked a treat. So it's just worth thinking about. if you're going to be using one of these, you might not bother, but I find it a lot easier to transfer what you've done, keep it lined up. When it's cooled, put it in the cutter, take your sleeve off, wind it on. Okay, so it is a dream now to use that unit, and I think this is good value for money, because that'll pay for itself in all the offcuts that you normally throw away. Bamboo Labs is quite good at, you can run out of filament, and as I've explained in the previous video, overnight, and I come back and it had run out of filament, and just put another filament on, it carried on, and it was spot on where it carried on. But some of my other printers aren't that accurate, so you've got to judge it, and if it's a long print you think, oh, I better put another reel on, I might run out of here, and then you end up with a little bit on a reel that you don't dare use, because unless it's for a very small item, and that's where this thing comes into its own. Okay, right, I'm back round now. So there you go, my way, how I deal with using the Sunlu Filament Joiner, and it works every time for me. Just those out there that's using one of these, let me know if you've been having problems with it. When you've taken it out of the heater, that they go misaligned. Be interesting to know, I were having quite a lot of problem lining it up. You only had to move it a little bit in that moment when the temperature's critical and it cools down, it holds it in that position. You can get it stepped off, you can get it kinked that way, and if you get a kink on it, or you've pushed it in too far, inevitably you'll get a jam. I had a few, but since I started doing it this way, it's been lined up perfect every time. So, well, that's ending. It's just a short video, show you what's follow on from the unit. I hope other people are having good results with this, and it's my way of dealing with it. So until next time, don't forget, like and subscribe. It does help me, and knowing that you like the videos. If anybody's got any questions in the comments, please as well let me know if you've got one of these and how you're coping with it. Some people might not bother, they just cope with it and deal with it. I have quite a lot to do, and that's why I noticed the difference. So comments, thumbs up, and as I always say at the end of the video, be safe, be careful, and bye for now. Bye.